sports fans. This is Robert with WTP Sports Dudes here live for another edition of Sports Saturday. We freestyling today. Welcome to the show, my man. Post game of the Post Game 86 podcast. How you feeling, post game?
Man, I feel great, Rob. It's a blessing to be on with y'all this morning, as always. How y'all fellas doing?
Great, great.
Good. I'm good. I'm good. We also got our man T1 of City League TV, who, if you had a chance to check it out yesterday, he brought us a banger from the Centennial and Northland game yesterday. It was an unbelievable game. Last second finish. Our man T1 of City League TV, how you feeling this morning?
Feeling great, man. But feeling a little down. The only football we got today is Army Navy, I believe.
Yeah, Army Navy. That's it. We're gonna talk about that here in a little bit, but I think that's the only major one that we got going down today. Uh, I'm looking forward to being able to catch a little bit of that game. But we're going to also talk a little bit about this Heisman Trophy presentation that's going to take place as well. And then a little bit of more stuff that's going on in the world of college football. Let's welcome our man, Old Texas Tech Man 9144. He said, I'm back wrecking Tech Big 12 championship, wrecking Tech. Okay. We feel you, old man, Texas Tech. Listen, y'all. What do y'all think about this matchup today with Navy, Army Navy, our military playing in this game? I think last year Army might have surprised Navy because I think I picked Navy to win that game. I think. What's your thoughts on this matchup with them?
I'm more interested in, I believe it's Navy. I'm more interested in looking at Navy's helmets. You know about the helmets? No, no,
Nope,
Rob.
nope.
Okay, I believe it's Navy. Their helmets are hand painted, and it takes like 4 hours per helmet. I mean, and the detail of the helmets is, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. They have the best helmet ever. For this game. I think they just started a couple of years ago, but it's always it's a great rivalry. It's actually always a good game to see, just because it's Army Navy, and you're gonna get a good one. You're gonna get a banger. You're gonna get some click clacking out there, and it's just gonna be a good rivalry game against two of our special forces, our armed forces. So, although it's the only game on a tube as far as the Division 1 goes, I'm still kind of looking forward to seeing it. Like I said, but I'm even more interested in looking at all them beautiful helmets out there.
For sure. Um, Shout out to the military academies, man. Army and Navy doing their thing. We appreciate y'all, what y'all do for the country, for sure, for sure. But I'm interested to seeing the helmets also on the field as far as the play. I'm interested in seeing Blake Horvath, the quarterback for the Navy team. I think he's going to have a big day today, rushing the ball, and I think Navy's going to get the job done.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Horvath as well. What he put on Oklahoma last year in that bowl game, I'm quite sure he's going to shine again today and get the victory for Navy. You said 4 hours per helmet. I
Four
hope they got,
hours per helmet.
I hope they got 100 people painting these helmets at the same
I
time.
don't. I don't think so. I almost want to say it's just one man doing it. He just started uh, probably about 2 months ago or something.
Okay, so it's a special helmet they only wear for this particular game.
I believe so.
Okay, okay. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It's cold though, man. Like and I mean, like you say, just imagine 4 hours per helmet. That's half a work day.
That's half a work day. You doing
So he
two
only get two
helmets?
helmets in for the work day.
Right, right. What would you imagine he's getting paid to do that?
Oh, it has to be a astronomical number. I mean when you see the details on these helmets, I mean it's sick.
Yeah, yeah. That's dope, man. That's dope. I like that, man. I wonder what they do with those helmets at the end of the year. Do those players get to keep their helmet as a trophy or what? Because I couldn't imagine that he's redoing the old helmet from the previous year all over again.
That's a good one. That's a great question, and I'd like to know what they do with the helmets myself.
Yeah. All right, that's dope. That's dope. So I think we got a clean sweep on that one. Everybody taking Navy in this one.
Yep, yep,
Yeah, man.
Yesterday, man, I was kind of disappointed in the Bolitnikov Award. They gave it to I think Malachi Lemon, I think is his name from
yeah,
UNC.
yeah.
And I mean, I don't I like to get y'all's opinion on it, man, but I felt like there was no way. I don't care if Jeremiah Smith had less numbers than anybody in the country, bro. The reality is he's the best wide receiver in the country. How could you not give him that award? But what's your thoughts on that? Malachi Lemon winning the Bolitnikov Award. And do you think Jeremiah Smith should have hands down got that award?
What y'all want me to go on my rant first?
Yeah, go on your rant, bro. You got the right to rant on that one.
Boy, oh boy. One thing I will say is, I guess we can use this as motivation because you can, they and he wasn't invited to New York, so it's a whole nother double smack in the face. I appreciate him inviting saying, but to say that Jeremiah Smith isn't not I'm not even going to say the best receiver, but to say that Jeremiah Smith isn't the best football player in college football is just absolutely ridiculous. To not give him the award to the best wide receiver in football is absolutely ridiculous. He can get the award just off of his body type. And just for being he just turned 20 years old, man. He just turned 20 years old last month. He's been playing the whole season at the age of 19. Last year, so that means last year he was 18. He was the best wide receiver last year as a freshman. How do we go 2 years in a row where all the world knows that Jeremiah Smith is not only the best athlete in college football right now, but hands down the best receivers? Are there the great receivers out here? Absolutely. Absolutely. But for the factory that Ohio State has put together and produced year after year after year with these wide receivers, to have a wide receiver of Jeremiah Smith's stature, stats, uh, mannerism, double teams, triple teams, to not get this award, just a complete smack in the face. But guess what? We like it. We like it. We're not so concerned about individual awards, and really, when you're playing for a national championship, you don't need much motivation to go out there and smack that team across from you. But this right here, this don't feel right at all. This feel like a smack in the face. This this feel like Notre Dame-ish. This don't feel right, but we gonna roll with it. But it just don't feel right. That's
Yeah,
it for me.
yeah. I'm gonna have to agree with T1 on this. Although I do like Makai Lemon, and I think he's worthy of being mentioned amongst the best wide receivers in the country. There's no way in the world they should have gave this award to anybody else but Jeremiah Smith. T1 really said it all. There's nothing I can really add, but I would like to know what they're voting on. Like, what's the criteria when they decide when they decide on which player wins what? Uh, because if you, I mean, Jeremiah Smith is just simply the best wide receiver in America. Anytime any team plays Ohio State, the first question is always, what are we going to do with Smith? I mean, it got to be. I thought he was deserving. I thought he should have been in New York. I thought he should have won this award. So, um, moving forward, I would like to know the criteria and if the voters stuck to that criteria. Because Jeremiah Smith is just simply put it, is just the best wide receiver in America. Easy.
Right, and posting that just reminds me of something you said a few podcasts ago, where you said you like for them to open up the door to that college football playoff room, and like we want to like, what do y'all like? Who are making these decisions, and how are you coming up with this? You have, as we say, the best wide receiver in college football. He's getting double teamed and triple teamed. That defense is game planning around this wide receiver, and his numbers are still better than the person that you gave the award to, the player you gave the award to. That's just ridiculous. I want to know how did y'all come to this conclusion when all of America has been saying for the past 2 years Jeremiah Smith is one of the best athletes in college football, not just the best wide receiver. He could have won it as a freshman. I'm so sick and tired of he'll get his chance. So what? I guess they just gonna wait for him next year and give it to him his junior year when it's his last year in college football, just like saying out here balling. He's a redshirt freshman. There's no way we can give him the Heisman. He just have to wait his turn. Ain't no waiting your turn. If you out here on this field and you balling, you deserve a award if you're the best at your position out there.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. I don't see how they messed this one up. I mean, when you look at all the awards that was given out, the players who we felt should win those awards, they got their awards. He's the only player who did not get his award, man, which is crazy to me. I'm like, Rodriguez got his award. Um,
Caleb got his.
Caleb got his. That they spread a little bit of wealth, I guess, with the quarterbacks a little bit. Mendoza got his.
Hold up, time out.
Rodriguez. Say it
Who got
again.
the linebacker? Rob, my Reese didn't get that linebacker
Nah,
award.
the linebacker from Texas Tech got it. Uh,
Oh, really?
yeah, which he put up amazing stats. So we could see him getting it.
Yeah,
Um,
he ain't got to share tackles with two defensive ends, two defensive tackles, a whole nother a linebacker, and more safeties.
yeah, that I
Oh,
mean that
good.
that
The
is
hate is
true.
real.
Yeah, that is true. But I mean,
They
Rodriguez put
talking
up some
about
numbers,
they
bro.
they talking about Arvell Reese going number 1 overall.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's
haven't
how.
heard nothing about that guy going number 1 overall.
Yeah, I feel your pain on that, but I really can't argue too much about Jacob Rodriguez winning that award though, bro, because he put up some amazing stats.
Yeah, and with a lot of these awards and a lot of these teams, you're gonna be able to put up stats like that. You know what I mean? when
Yeah,
when you're the head honcho on that defense.
yeah. I feel you on that. I feel you
It's
on
all
that.
good. It's all good though. It's all good though. I'm quite sure that both of those players would use that as a little bit of extra motivation. Like I said, not that they need any more motivation.
Right, right. Let's talk a little bit about Michigan and their situation. We've seen that the one player from Michigan, Ludwig, uh, got released from his NIL deal, and he's going to be transferring to Texas Tech. Do we see more of this happening at the University of Michigan following what took place on Wednesday evening?
Go ahead, post.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some players to defect from that squad as the transfer portal opens up a little later here. I can see that. You know, they lost their coach. Um, it's another stain on the University of Michigan. Although I think they'll be able to rebound as soon as they name their coach. Which who knows who the next coach would be at Michigan? They better make a great hire though. So I definitely can see some players defecting and hitting that portal once they get the opportunity to go.
How was he able to hit the portal so early?
He probably just enter his name. I don't think the portal
Oh,
is
okay. Yeah, I was about to say because I thought it wasn't open. Yeah, I thought it wasn't open. So, um, I'm about to come on camera. I gotta say this to everybody's face. Uh, this situation, um, I believe it was a setup. I believe it was a setup, and it was all a part of I'm going to call it the rejuvenation and the rebuild of the Michigan program. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that? What's his name? Hardball. Did y'all know that he had in his contract that when he left that they had to hire Moore as the head coach? Did y'all know that that was in his contract that he signed?
I did not.
Yeah, so that was actually in his contract. In his contract, and why? I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't even know if I've ever heard of anything like that. Now I've heard of them promoting the next coach as Urban Meyer did when he left. He said, "Hey, y'all should hire Ryan Day," and the school went on ahead and did that. But Harbaugh actually had in his contract for Moore to be the next coach after he left, however he left, whether it was through retirement or if he just chose to go back to the NFL. I'm quite sure they never thought about him getting fired or anything like that. But we know he pretty much left on his own, but he left for a reason. But I think it was all just a part of the plan, just to because he also handed him the keys to the head coach's office. And along with those keys came what? A personal assistant. The same type of personal assistant that he had, the same type of personal assistant that the coach before him had. Just so happened, this one got a little messy. You know, the little jump off with, keeping receipts and rumor has it she got pregnated. Now, do we know if she really got pregnated or not? Don't know that for sure. Don't know all of the insides. But what we do know is that Coach Moore was on somebody else's insides, and he was a married man and the head coach of the Michigan program. But I feel like this was all a plan. And The plan is to get all of the hardball era, all of the hardball madness, all of the negativity that came along with that Michigan football program, and blame it on what? The very first African American coach in Michigan football history. I saw a podcast with AJ. What's his name? AJ. Up
RJ
in
Young. RJ Young.
RJ Young. Yeah, saw a podcast with RJ Young yesterday. This grown man on his podcast crying. He said he felt let down by Coach Moore because he was the first African American coach in Michigan football history. And for the most part, I mean, what is this? His second season? You know, he lost 3 games. Not doing bad. Seemed like they were possibly going in a pretty good direction. They went from 5 losses to 3 losses, so that means that they're building up. So RJ Young was this grown man was crying on the podcast and said he felt let down because of the whole situation. And when you think about it, it's a horrible situation. It's a horrible situation. And me as a black man, you know, I make fun of it on social media. I make fun of it with my Michigan friends. But really, it's not a funny situation. You know, when we're in positions like that, we want to represent not just ourselves and our family, but when you're in a position like that, you represent almost every black man in America. And I don't care that I dislike Michigan, but you know, I personally didn't like him getting that position because Michigan has never had an African American head coach before. And I just felt like that would be able to bring in more players. And I believe Michigan picked up some dogs because he was the head coach. Some players with different type of attitudes that they would not have gotten hadn't Moore not been the head coach. But I just and y'all know me. Y'all know me. Y'all know I'm almost against the grain with almost everything in America. And I just don't feel like this is just something regular that happened. I feel like they had a hand in this. I feel like this young lady knew exactly what her mission was here, and they accomplished it. And now this man's life is ruined forever. He may never ever coach football again. He may go to jail. Um, he was trying to take himself up. He was going to take himself up out of here. It's just a bad situation for this man.
What's your thoughts on that post game of Michigan probably losing some more players to the portal because of the loss of their coach?
I mean, yeah, I agree with everything T1 said. Um, you know, to a lesser degree, I can remember working in a predominant white facility and being promoted. And one of the prides that I had was I was one of the few foundational Black Americans in that position of power. So I felt like I couldn't mess it up for the rest of us. And that was a pride thing for me. I wanted to represent my race. So I think what T1 said about representing for us as a community really hit home. And this very well could have possibly been a hit job on the University of Michigan, you know, finding every reason or setting him up to get him out of there. And so, yeah, I think players are going to leave. Some players do commit because of the coaching staff, because of the head coach. Some players commit for the university. You know, regardless of what happens, some players are going to commit or are going to hold true to their commitment because of that maize and blue. Some players are going to leave because Sharon Moore is gone. Some players may not like the fact that all that stuff went down and they feel like they don't want to be a part of that and they're going to leave. So it's a horrible situation. I don't like it. Michigan is one of Notre Dame's rivals, but that don't have nothing to do with the situation. I hate to see this happen to anyone, regardless of race. So you can expect a few more players to be hitting that portal once it opens up, for sure.
Hey, 24, did y'all see 24/7 reported that Underwood is taking his talents right back to where he said he was going to take them in the beginning and going down there to LSU.
Yep.
24/7 reported that. So it sounds like they're gonna be starting over at that quarterback position too if they don't find a coach that I don't know. It's almost like this. Is he still 18? Sound like this 18-year-older can possibly say who he'd like to have as a coach at Michigan, which is absolutely ridiculous. But if 24/7 is correct, and they are a certified and very valid source, that could be a hit and a domino effect in up there up north. See if any of them running backs leave. See if any of those commits leave and pull a Julian Sane. Because remember, Sane he was committed. He was there. He was there. He was there. He enrolled early, I believe, and all he enrolled early and all of that. And soon Saban said he was gone. He was out. So these commits who have just signed their letters of intent, it's going to be interesting to see how many of those players get up out of it. And there's quite a few of them that we had a chance, we wouldn't have mind getting.
Yeah, I know. I hope that if Michigan already had in their mind that they were probably going to let Sharon Moore go, they should have already had a coach in succession to that. They should have already been reaching out to someone. And now that Cal Whittingham has said that he is going to step away from coaching the Utah Utes after their bowl game, but he's not retiring from coaching, sort of, adds a little bit more suspicion to will he end up at Michigan after he leaves from Utah? Because I'm quite sure he wanted to get out of that situation at Utah, even though he liked coaching there for all the years that he has coached there. I think he feels like he can go and win a championship somewhere else because he's not going to be able to do it at Utah. I believe Michigan has quite a few players that Texas was in the running for, uh, uh, recruit wise, and not that I want Texas to cash in on Michigan's misfortune, but if they do, I would definitely take that Malachi Lee kid who plays on that offensive line because we need some offensive line help. And I think they got a linebacker or a cornerback also that we were interested in. But I don't want us to capitalize on Michigan's misfortune. Hopefully they can go ahead and get that thing figured out, man, because if they lose Underwood, that means they're going to lose some other skill position players and possibly some linemen as well. Because players who are going to stay usually will stay if that quarterback is going to stay because they can see that they can still have a really successful season when you know you got a good solid quarterback. So I'm anxious to see if Underwood is really going to take his talents to LSU or not. I know that 24/7 has reported that, but we got to wait and see if it really, really, truly happens. Because I'm quite sure that young man was probably uh, having some mixed emotions about the fact that his coach would no longer be there, and he probably may have done something or said something that made people think that he would be willing to part ways with Michigan and head over there to LSU. But hopefully they get that thing figured out because Michigan is a blue blood program, and we always have said on this show that we want to see them in the thick of things because college football is better when Michigan is really, really good.
Rob, if you don't think that an Ohio State Buckeye fan would love to capitalize off of Michigan's stupidity, We want it all. We want it all. If we could, we go out there and take seats out the locker room. Whatever we can get that affect that team up north, we want it. And we might not even use it. We just don't want them to have it.
Hey, that's the position you're supposed to have as an Ohio State fan.
Hey, listen here. You talking about you, man. Listen, man. And look, we even want other people to come up. So we want y'all to get the couple of players that it was down to Texas and Michigan. We want them to go ahead and already have their mind changed and say, I knew I should have went to Texas. This ain't nothing but a sign. I'm out of here.
Yeah, hey, I feel you, man. That's the way you're supposed to feel as an Ohio State fan. Let's
No,
let
that's the way you're supposed to feel as a recruit. If you was down to Texas and Michigan, and you woke up one morning and you just thought that God talked to you and told you you should go to Michigan. Then you sign your letter. And then 3, 4 days later, you find out that Michigan is up there Michiganing. And now you thinking like, man, did I make the wrong decision? And then you get to thinking about, they just got caught up in all of this cheating stuff and all of that. And all my friends laughing at me about that, man. I think I made the wrong decision, man. I'm going to Texas, man. What you want to do, homie? What you want to do, Post? You want to, hey, you said you was you was close to Texas too. Let's go. Out. I want them to, hey, let's go. Oh man.
What do y'all think about Kyle Whittingham, the Utah coach, deciding that, listen, after this bowl game, I'm going to go ahead and step away from this head coaching position? But he's not retiring. That's the thing that throws me. He's not retiring. What is he possibly setting himself up to do?
Just go somewhere else. I mean, I don't see him going to a program like Michigan and being some type of X factor that would keep recruits there, or just be the piece to building that program back up. But yeah, he possibly could go somewhere else.
I'm not too sure about the Kyle Whittingham situation. Um, could they possibly have a backdoor deal with Michigan that's gonna come out here? Maybe. Um, you gotta think about the imaging of a hire like that. Also, the imaging that Michigan would want moving on from Sharon Moore. I've also heard people like Tommy Reese, T1, your Browns offensive coordinator, I believe, uh, former Notre Dame offensive coordinator, former Alabama offensive coordinator, Tommy Reese. I've also heard that name. So I don't know what to make of the Utah situation. Maybe he feels like he just can't win there, like he wants to win. Maybe he feels like he can't build that program up to what he wants it to be. I'm not sure about the Winningham situation. It's real interesting.
Yeah, I'm interested to find out more details about why he's made this decision. At this point, I think what we're starting to find that we got some coaches who have an old school mindset, and this new age of NIL and portal, and you paying for play and all this other stuff. They just don't really want to function that way as a head coach. And I don't know if Utah has totally bought into the concept that, listen, you need to put up some money if we're going to be competitive. We already seen what Texas Tech is doing. They're in the same conference with Texas Tech. Texas Tech is letting everyone in the Big 12 know, listen, if you ain't willing to fork up no dollars, then we're going to continue to win this Big 12, and we're going to continue to be the powerhouse in this Big 12. So you better pony up some money. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to compete with us. And we saw what they did this year. They went 11-1. Their only loss was to Arizona State. and they didn't have their starting quarterback in that game. So we never know how that outcome would have been had Barrett Morton started in that game or played in that game. So I think Texas Tech has put that conference on notice that listen, if you ain't gonna pony up this bread, we're gonna get all the talent and we're gonna smash y'all year in and year out, and we're gonna run this thing and be in the college football playoff every year. Maybe that's something that's happening in Utah to where they just ain't coming up off that money. Now BYU is in Utah as well, and they coming up off of some money. We've seen what they gave the basketball guy, the number one player in the country, to come there. So I'm quite sure that Utah got some of that money as well. So they need to pony it up. But maybe he got tired of having to deal with that, much like Nick Saban did. So we'll have to wait and see what's going on with that. Have y'all ever seen so much coaching moves and firings and such a crazy coaching carousel ever in the history of you watching college football?
This is a lot now. Like this is, I mean, this is the overload. You know, this is an overload, and what it speaks of is no stability. And that's kind of the same thing that goes on in the locker room and on the football team. Now that this portal is open, it's just wild. It's just wild, and that's what you see with all these coaching firings and leaving, like coaches under contract and leaving to go get another contract. You know, just no loyalty at all. It's just all strictly about the money, and that's just what makes it difficult for me to believe what I see when I do sit down and watch these sports that I enjoy.
Yeah, Ty, you on the heater this morning, man. You're really cooking. Um, yeah, I don't, man. I can't think of another year like this. With all the coaches moving, all the coaching rumors, and even at Notre Dame, every single job that comes up, Marcus Freeman name is in it. NFL jobs come up, Marcus Freeman name is in it. There's even been talk that if the Alabama job becomes vacant, we can see our guy leave Mississippi, leave LSU, and go to Alabama because that's his dream job. So there's no loyalty, no stability, like T1 was saying. It's all about that almighty dollar. So I've never seen nothing like this. I'm pretty sure y'all can attest to that point.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it as well, man. But we knew going into the season before it even started that there were at least 5 to 8 coaches that we knew were going to be on the hot seat. Some of those coaches were definitely fired, which means that there were going to be coaches coming from other schools to coach there where those vacancies was taking place at, which also created vacancies where they came from. So we knew it was going to be pretty much nuts before the season even started. And so now we're seeing it all starting to play out. And it will probably continue on, man. And I would think that most of these teams will try to get a coach in place before the January 2nd portal window opens, so that they could already get a head start on what's going on, so that they can go ahead and get that thing ironed out, man. Because once that portal window open, you gotta have somebody in place really already right now looking in the portal at all the guys who are saying they're going in to try to get to their agents to see if you can uh, uh, have a conversation with them to possibly get them to come to your school. But if you late on that, you're going to be destined for a messed up season unless you already got a bunch of talent on your roster already. And we all know that sometimes the portal is the fix for some schools because they're able to fill those voids that were left with some more uh, highly experienced college football players. So hopefully, like Michigan gets somebody in place soon, Utah gets somebody in place soon, and some of these other schools like Iowa State, who just lost Matt Campbell to which they might already have gotten a coach by now, to Penn State, which Matt Campbell probably was a little bit too early because he would rather be at Michigan than probably Penn State at this point, according to what people say who know him. He would have really loved to have been at that Michigan job. That was one of his dream jobs uh, before he took that Penn State job.
Hey, they showed him and his family walking into the Penn State Happy Valley Stadium yesterday, and he looked pretty happy with where it was at to me.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, is Brian Kelly the odd man out, or do any of these schools give him a call?
A lot of positions open. Somebody gonna call him. Somebody gonna be a fool.
Brian Kelly is a good hire if you are a Power Four school who you already know that you are already up against it and you're not going to be able to recruit at the level of the top people in your conference in the Power Four. I would hire Brian Kelly if I'm one of those schools like that. Um, I wouldn't just let that guy sit out there and be dormant because he can coach. He's just not ready for the LSUs of the world, the Notre Dames of the world, the top notch Power Four schools. I don't think his personality is conducive for that kind of job. But he could go to somewhere like, say, if Bill O'Brien decides to leave Boston College, he could go to Boston College and be a good coach there. Uh, Places like that. I think somebody should take a chance on him. I mean, if I'm Iowa State and I don't have a coach, I will call Brian Kelly.
Would he take a coordinator position like Chip Kelly did?
To be honest with you, T.
For
if I
a
was a
year,
head
for a
coach,
year, and he wanted to let a whole nother year go by and think about, what head coaching spot he wanted to go get or what next move he wanted to make.
yeah. If I was a head coach and I did not want to take on that head coaching responsibility right away, I would definitely take a coordinator's position and just go ahead. Because at this point, Brian Kelly got bread. Those guys who have been head coaches for numerous years, numerous stops, they already got bread, man. So to go be a coordinator, you can still be involved with teaching young men the game. I would take a coordinator's position and not have the headache of having to be the head honcho, man. And I think he should really consider that. I'm surprised that no one has reached out to Gary Patterson, who used to be the TCU coach. Maybe he has been enjoying the music circuit so much that he don't even want to come back to coaching anymore. I haven't even heard him being out there as an analyst or anything like that. So maybe he's doing his music and he's having a good time doing it, and is not really thinking about coaching. Because I thought by now I would have heard his name out there as well. Post game, you think that Brian Kelly should take a coordinator's position?
I'm not sure because if you're gonna take a coordinator position, that means you won't your check won't be as big. And how does that affect his buyout payment? You know what I'm saying? If he was gonna be a coordinator, they still got to negotiate the buyout, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
guess so. That's a good point.
did they fire him or did he leave?
Oh no, he got
He got,
barbecued.
he got fired. Yeah, he got fired.
Yeah, so they just got to give him his guaranteed part of his contract. That's on them. They said they chalked that up when they fired him. They said, "All right, we're gonna lose this."
Yeah, I'm old Texas Tech man 9144. I'm trying to remember that offensive coordinator's name for TCU who just took another job. somewhere else. He's a really good offensive coordinator too. His name just his name just slips me. That's all. But yeah, I was talking. I was listening to that last night, and I really like that offensive coordinator, man. Um, I like TCU's coach too. Hopefully, they'll get another guy in that position. But there's a lot of movement going on right now, man. Texas is probably going to get rid of some of their some more coaches as well. Of course, they parted ways with their running backs coach, and then got another running backs coach who they hired yesterday that they got from Florida. So and Texas needs running back help, man. I think they was displeased with how things went this past year with the running back position, especially after going from Jonathan Brooks, what Trey Wisner did last year, and Jonathan Brooks the year before, and Bijan 2 years before that. But I think Texas got some other position coaches, maybe even some coordinators that might end up uh, after this bowl game not being on the staff. I'm quite sure there's going to be some movement there as well. So everybody's got some movement going on pretty much. Um, and Jim Knowles just went and took the defensive coordinator position at, I want to say, Arkansas.
Tennessee, Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah, Tennessee. So listen, Texas got Tennessee on their schedule next year. Now, the thing that I'm not concerned about is the fact that Jim Knowles is there and it takes a while to learn his system. But once his system is learned in a year or 2 or 3 years, that his system gives Steve Sarkisian nightmares. So we play them next year. I'm not going to be so worried about it next year, but when we play them again after that first year under Jim Knowles' defensive system, it can create some issues. And he hasn't fared well against Jim Knowles in the past.
Dang, so he was beating y'all when he was at Oklahoma State?
Oh, his defense was giving us fits at Oklahoma. Now we beat them a couple of times,
Uh-huh.
but
But they beat
we
y'all a
never.
couple times too?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
dang.
listen, like to the tune of like 30-0. we got one
Dang.
foot on it.
Dang.
Yeah, yeah. He gave us some fits, man. He gave us some fits. That three high safety gives Steve Sarkisian some fits, especially when it's ran with.
Yeah, but
Especially when it's ran.
it takes a 2 to 3 years to get it.
Yeah, yeah. That
It took us 3 years. It don't look like Penn State got it last year.
nope.
So my guess will be Tennessee ain't gonna get it this upcoming year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. Let's go ahead and get to the point where we get ready to wrap up the show. Let's talk about this Heisman that's going to take place tonight. Kendall Browse went to South Carolina as the offensive coordinator. Thanks for that, old Texas Tech man, 9144. I couldn't think of his name, but Kendall Browse, he's one heck of an offensive coordinator, man. One heck of an offensive coordinator. So we know who the four finalists who got invited to New York, and we all agree that Jeremiah Smith, even if you don't think they should have had five people there, in this case you gotta have Jeremiah Smith there as the fifth person. There's no way you can leave him out. We all know, everybody in the country knows that this guy is the best college football player the last 2 years, in my opinion. But we know the four guys who are going to be there: Diego Pavia, Mendoza from Indiana, Sam from Ohio State, and Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame. If you are a voter, who gets your vote to be the Heisman Trophy winner for this year?
Well, it seems like they've given it to Mendoza already, and with that cast up there, I actually would go with Jeremiah Love. I would try to pacify if I'm this committee. I would try to pacify Notre Dame with a Heisman, something that they haven't had in a very, very, very long time. So y'all know how I think about things, man. That's why I can't wait to get my somebody else podcast jumping off. Cause y'all know I almost go against almost everything. But I say, you know, if I'm directing this movie, I got it going to Jeremiah Love and showing Notre Dame some love, and Notre Dame not so upset with the NCAA anymore because evidently Notre Dame they pulling some weight. You know what I mean? So uh, I'm going with Jeremiah Love.
Uh,
Would you
good
like
point.
that? How would you like that post game? How would you like if your running back came brought the Heisman home this year?
Well, we popping bottles. We popping bottles, brother.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See what I mean? If I'm on a committee, I'm trying to convince everybody. Everybody talking to me about my Mendoza. You know I'm in there. I'm in there going against that grain, trying to convince everybody. Like, look at here, man. Come on, this dude. Yeah, he nice. You know, he nice. He just came from nowhere, man. Jeremiah been putting the work in. You know, so I really feel like he's more deserving of it than a quarterback of a 13-0 Indiana Big Ten championship team.
It all comes down to me, and I made a video on this on my channel. But if you look at the quarterbacks, all of them great seasons. I can't take nothing away from the QBs. But if you compare the quarterbacks to past winners, they're not putting up those mind blowing stats that past winners did. 40 touchdowns.
Sane did my fault post, but Sane did. Sane just completed the best completion percentage in a very very long time, and his numbers were better than Mendoza's. But go ahead. Sorry about that, bro.
Yeah,
So
and you're
yeah,
right.
go with
You're
what you're
right.
saying. Yeah, those numbers ain't eye popping.
You absolutely right on saying as far as completion percentage goes. Absolutely. I can't take nothing away from him. But if you looking at the past winners, they had 40, 50 touchdowns, close to 5,000 yards in some cases. None of the quarterbacks have that. Um, every 10 years, I believe, a running back wins the Heisman. This is the 10th year since the last running back has won the Heisman. If you just go off your eyes and see the mind blowing plays that Jeremiah Love had, that I just think, and then the fact that T1 said, okay, maybe the committee played Notre Dame. Maybe we make up for it with giving them the Heisman this year. So I think the favorite coming in today is Mendoza, just for the fact that Indiana hasn't had a season like this probably ever. Nobody expected Indiana to be one of the premier teams in America. Oh, okay, I get it. But if you're just talking, wow, Mel Kiper got this kid as the number one draft prospect in next year's NFL or this year's NFL draft. So I think somehow, some way, the quarterback split the vote up, and Jeremiah Love brings the Heisman Trophy home.
But post, you made a good point too. The other former Heisman's that's up there on stage. You know, they got to be looking at these quarterback numbers like these ain't Heisman numbers. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? Like for real. Even with my quarterback now, if you do say a quarterback, then you gotta go over to the quarterback who just completed the best passing completion percentage in the history.
Yeah.
Then you
And
have
I think
then you have to think about that. If you were to say we're going to choose the quarterback, I think it will have to be that one. Even though this one is undefeated, their numbers are the same. I think
yep.
Stevens might be, he may have just a couple of more yards or something, but you know, and then Mendoza has, I think, 3 more touchdowns.
Bruh, can
I'm
you
giving it to Love.
real quick before you cook, Rob? I just want to say this, bro. Can you imagine the numbers that saying is gonna have next season?
Oh yeah, it's going down.
with Schmitty.
It's
Bro,
going.
people forget this is his first year starting. So I'm gonna be looking forward to seeing the kind of numbers he has next season. But go ahead, Rob. My bad.
Oh, no, you fine. You fine. Yeah, y'all made a really strong case for Jeremiah Love, so I'm not going to go that direction because that's kind of where I was going to go. But I will say this: their first two games, we everybody who loves college football were like, "Why are you not feeding Jeremiah Love with ball carries and with catches out of the backfield?" They must
Good
have
point.
heard the rumbling, right? Because the last 10 games, except for when he got injured, he put up monster numbers, man, which lets you know that if they would have used him early in the season, they probably wouldn't have lost those two games. But anyway, I think Jeremiah Love should be the Heisman Trophy winner. But if I had to pick one, I'm going to pick Diego Pavia just simply because he's at Vanderbilt and they played a really, really nice schedule. They went 10-2, and he put up some really, really good numbers. He's really their only player, even though they got some players on their team, but he ain't got the names like you hear on some of these other teams. He doesn't have a Surratt. He doesn't have a Jeremiah Smith. He doesn't have the kind of talent around him in terms of what everybody else has. So I would go with Diego Pavia. Do I think he's going to win the Heisman Trophy? No. I think Mendoza is going to win it simply because Indiana went 12-0 and they beat Ohio State in that last game. I think that's what sealed it for the voters, in my opinion. But he did not have a couple of good games down the stretch, which
Yeah,
made
he
me
had
feel
like
like he would
two.
be.
He had like two not good games. Now he
Yeah,
came through in a clutch and saved them, but that doesn't take away from your back your not so good game.
yeah, your stats in those games, you're absolutely correct. But I think the fact that he pulled out those games in the fashion in the way that he did, the voters are probably going to look at that more. So, I think that he's going to come away with this Heisman Trophy. But it's going to be one of those Heisman trophies where you like, well, you know, the stats wasn't all that. This is just a Heisman Trophy that was given to a guy because they went 12-0, in my opinion. But I think he's going to win it. I think he's going to win it.
Hey, but just like Post said, and that's why I'm thinking that all three of these gonna get knocked up out of here because Pavia's stats are there. His are no better than the other two quarterbacks. What he has more rushing yards. I mean that's not going to cut it. And like I said, when you think about the other quarterbacks, the past Heisman winners that's up on that panel, you just look at these numbers, and that's not it. And then, like I said, for the case with Jeremiah Smith, Love again, he's been putting in the work. Not just this year, he's been putting in the work, and I feel like that should weigh a little bit of something too. You know, with this class right here. So I'm rolling with Jeremiah, and I just don't think that the quarterbacks have the numbers. And I feel like if you go with a quarterback, you have to go with the one who made history this year and has this pretty much the same numbers as the other two quarterbacks. And he's just a freshman. I don't like the wait your turn. It's his turn. When he started that first game, it was his turn. So and they've been keeping him down on the Heisman, although he's had better numbers than Mendoza all season long. So I don't know. Like I said, and I would just love for the NCAA to throw Notre Dame a bone. I wouldn't be mad at that. You know, I talk my junk about them not being in the conference, but as I say, if I was the director of this playout movie, I would give Notre Dame a Heisman. Post, when was y'all's last Heisman winner? Tim Brown?
Yep, I believe it.
Good gosh. And that would have had to been what, like back in 89 or something? Right?
Man, I was a puppy, bro.
Yeah,
I was a puppy.
yeah, that's 89. That's like 36 years. That's like 36 years ago. Yeah, man. Hey, I be forgetting I'm OG now, man. Sometimes I feel so young inside. I forget that I'm a OG now. I ain't the big OG or the then you gotta get to that double OG size. We got the big OG up there on the left hand, up there on the left hand corner. That's the big OG of the family right here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anything else y'all want to add before we wrap up?
I think that's it, man. I think that's it.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
We appreciate
I don't got
everybody.
nothing.
All right, cool. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Share our videos. Tell all your friends and family members about us so that they can subscribe as well. We're really trying to grow our channels to the
That's
point
right.
where YouTube shows us a little bit of favor and monetizes us and allows us to, be able to get better equipment, all kinds of things we want to do because we're really trying to bring you as much content as possible. And you can help us by liking our videos, commenting, subscribing, sharing our videos with your friends and family. But we're going to be out of here. We'll be back again tomorrow at 9 a.m. So tune in tomorrow for our Sunday conversation talking sports. All right? All
Y'all
right,
know
y'all. We
what it
out.
is. WTP Sports Dudes. We was in the building. Now we out. Peace.
Peace.
Talk to y'all.
Y'all fellas. One time.